Jesus wants to speak, so I'm going to speak with Jesus. Come, Divine Will, come speak in my speaking. Hello, folks. Welcome to back to the House of the Divine Will here in Corato, where I'm recording these videos from the place where Luisa wrote volumes 25 onwards. Not all of them, but 25 through to around 36, 34, I think it was rather, before she was moved back to a place called Via Magdalena. So this is volume 25. If you're following in sequence, then this is the next paragraph. I had not at all thought that on that very evening I would move to the house of the Divine Will near my prisoner Jesus. Only I prayed him not to let me know when this would be, so as not to profane such an act with my human will, so that I might not put nothing of my own, but do the Divine Will in everything. So there's a very interesting angle on living in the Divine Will. Each day we can make our plans and we can decide what we're going to be doing each day, and before we do it we can be placing everything in the Divine Will. But then during the day Jesus is going to send things which contradict our plans, and Luisa is basically saying that she didn't want to know when she was going to be moving or what was going to be happening in case the human will interfered with what would happen. And this can happen to us very, very easily. We can actually prevent Jesus from working by stubbornly demanding our own will, stubbornly demanding what we want to do, and not abandoning ourselves to Jesus's divine will at work in our lives. And sort of say, okay, this isn't something I want to do, but I'm going to do it because this is clearly from the divine will. And you know, being more discerning. This is why when Luisa writes, I felt Jesus moving in my interior, we have to be more sensitive to our interiority so that we can sense the promptings of grace, the promptings of the Holy Spirit against the inclinations of our own stubborn, hard-headed human will. Sinful human will, which always demands its own way, and it's always trying to come back to life, and we have to keep it at rest so that the divine will can reign. A constant battle. It was 8 o'clock in the evening when, out of the ordinary, the confessor came. Now it's currently we're in Italy, and it gets dark around 6 p.m. So it was dark because it was October 1928. And so it was dark in the evening at that time. The confessor came, who, prayed by the Reverend Mother Superiors, imposed out of obedience that I should surrender and make the Superiors content. I resisted quite a bit. So Luisa was, you know, even then, in the heights of holiness that she was resisting. That should make us feel confident and a bit more comfortable, the fact that when we fight and resist, we're in good company, right? Because I thought that if the Lord wanted so, it would be in the month of April, a warmer season, and so we would think about it then. But the confessor insisted. He shouldn't have had to, really, when you think about it. He should just say, and it should be okay, that's where we're going then. 8 o'clock in the evening, off we go. But it's easy for us to sort of look back and say, oh, Luisa, it's easy for us to do that. But that's the workings of grace. Remember, it's always a battle. The confessor insisted so much that I had to surrender. So she obeyed. And now, when you think about it, think about the two men going into the vineyard. One says, I will go and doesn't go. The other one says, I won't go and then does go. And Jesus says, which one does the Father's will? The one who refused at first, but did go. So Luisa's doing that. She is doing the Father's will. Let's remind ourselves of that. So at 9:30 in the evening, I was brought to this house near my prisoner Jesus, the very house where I'm broadcasting from. And this is the little story of why I find myself in the house of the divine will. So there's one more long paragraph to this section, and I'll cover that in the next video because I want to keep these videos short and draw out little truths from each one, little lessons from each paragraph. And the next one's a very, very beautiful paragraph. So I'll pop that on a little bit later. And what I might do also is pop on a short video of the museum downstairs, which has got Luisa's bed and some of her clothes in. And I really want to do a little video of that because everything that we're reading here was written in that bed. And so I really want to see if I can just pop on a little video of that bed, and then I can actually show you some of her hair, her shirts, her nighties, her pens, and so on. Just put them on a little video for you to show you her little museum here in the House of the Divine Will in Corato, and hopefully make things a little bit more real so we can actually kind of touch this beautiful saint. And just to remind you all that Lynn and I were at the church yesterday where Luisa's tomb is, a little encased in a little marble container, and we spent about an hour or so there just quietly praying in front of Luisa, where she actually rests. And then we went and stood underneath the balcony where she first saw Jesus saying, "Soul, help me." And we passed underneath that balcony again last night. We're doing all these acts in the Divine Will, so we're praying for everyone who's watching this and more besides, as we do these little visitations each day, walking in Luisa's footsteps. Okay, fiat.